YouTube. We have
Hello.
a very own Becky teaching us how to do Pai Gow. How you doing, Becky?
Great, great. For those that weren't here yesterday, and nobody was because nobody knew about it, we're going to do this over again because yesterday was terrible. Okay, Pai Gow is loosely based on poker. You have to know the poker hands and the ranking to be able to deal this game. And that's the first thing. Everybody wants to learn it. The first thing I always ask them is, do they know poker? Okay. The object of the game is each player is going to get 7 cards. Out of that 7 cards, they're going to make a 2-hand, 2-card low hand, and a 5-card high hand. The object is to, of course, beat the dealer. The low hand has to beat the low hand on the dealer's side, and the high hand has to beat the high hand. If they do both, if they beat both of those hands for the dealer, they will win their basic bet.
Okay.
Okay. The bonus bet starts off with, most places, the basic bet is $1. If they bet $5 or more, they qualify for an envy.
What's an envy?
An envy bet means that if anybody else on the table gets a 4 of a kind or better, they're going to win that bet.
Oh.
Okay, that's an envy bet. The regular bonus bet starts off with a straight 3 of a kind, flush, full house on up. You can, even with the $1 bet, you can win on any of those hands if you have something bet. But to qualify for the bonus bet, the envy bet, you have to have at least $5 bet. Okay? All right. We're going to start dealing. I was just explaining to Dennis the idea behind dealing this by hand is the machines are wonderful. They are a breeze to use, but if they break down, sometimes you have to deal by hand, okay? If you're dealing the machine is going to spit out 7 cards at a time, 1 hand at a time, basically. In the center of the table, there'll be a random number generator. That number tells you where you're going to start. The dealer is always number 1, number 8, or number 15. So if the number says number 6, well, if you're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that means the first hand is going to start over here. Okay. So whatever this number in the center of the table tells you, that's where you're going to start. Dealing it by hand, you use 3 dice. And that's why you have to remember the dealer is 1, 8, or 15, because this could total 14. Mm-hmm. And that's where you have to start. If you were 15, then this would be 14. You start over here. Okay, so by hand, dealing by hand, whatever the house shuffle is what you're going to be doing on this particular game. And we're going to deal 7 cards out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to go back and forth until all the cards are dealt. We will have 4 remaining. You're going to spread it so that everybody at the table can see there's only 4 cards left, and the camera can also see it. If you have 5 cards left, or 3 cards, or whatever the case may be, that means you've dealt something incorrectly. They all have to be picked up and redealt.
Okay.
If somebody gets the wrong amount of cards, say that you still end up with 4 cards here, you're going to burn that stack, and somewhere down the line, this person only ends up with 6 cards. And this person over here has 7 cards. Everything has to be picked up, and you start over. Okay. I'm going to straighten out these little stacks. Each stack is a hand. Now we're going to take the dice, and we're going to shake them 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Take the lid off, cock it on the side. We have 13. So if you remember, I said the dealer was 1, 8, or 15. So there's 15, 14, 13.
Okay.
This is the head, this is the tail. We're going to start right here with the head on number 13, and we're going to go right around the table from right to left. When we get here, this is the dealer's hands, and we continue over here. Now lately, we're going to cover the dice back up and remove that container from the middle of the table. Most of the casinos now deal this, what they call face up. That means the dealer's cards are going to be dealt face up, which they are anyway when I actually set my hand. But we're going to do that to begin with, right at the beginning of the hand, so everybody can see what I have. And there's barely a hand here. Pair of threes with an ace-10 up top. Okay, now everybody can see this. If I had nothing, just an ace, which would be called an ace-high Pai Gow, there was no pairs or anything else, everybody automatically pushes. Okay, but right at the moment I do have a hand because I have a pair of threes, so everybody's going to set their hands in an attempt to beat mine. They can see that both hands, low hand and the high hand. Okay, so let's just start over here. Well, this guy really has nothing. Okay, now if you'll look, I have an ace-10 up top. He doesn't have an ace, so there's no way he can beat this hand. He put his highest card, the highest card goes in the low hand, the next two highest cards go on top, so he ends up with a jack-9. And I have a pair of threes on the bottom. The most he has is a king. So he's gonna lose, but there's nothing he can do about it. Okay. These hands are terrible. I'm glad I'm not playing.
So question, are you setting it the way it should be set, or could this be set any way you really like?
The hands for the player can be set actually any way they like, as long as the low hand is lower than the high hand. I can't put this queen on top and then say move that down there, because that makes this higher than that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So as long as the low hand is lower than the high hand, they can set it any way they want. The dealer's hand, on the other hand, has to be set certain ways. They have what they call house ways. That's the way the house wants you to set them, and it depends on a lot of things. It depends on how many pair you have, what the pair are, whether there's aces involved. There's also a joker in the deck, so everybody can use that joker. It can either